At present, humanity and all life on Earth is facing a crisis that threatens our very survival. A crisis that requires a giant leap in humanity's evolutionary process. Join us on an extraordinary journey of war and peace, conflict and love, height and depth. Join this journey to find purpose and to make sense out of our divisive culture and to become part of a growing immune response to heal our world and help build a restorative and positive future for all. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in for this. I really appreciate it. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to share some really thrilling news with you about Floating in Darkness. But before I get into all that, I wanted to just take a couple of moments and share my motivation for writing Floating in Darkness. Like my first book, The Orbital Perspective, I wrote it in response to the times. So we're living through some really interesting and challenging and pivotal times. We're at a crossroads right now. And so I wrote Floating in Darkness to try and make sense of this inflection point that we're in right now. And maybe to share, maybe to kick this off, I'll read just a quick excerpt from the introduction of the book. But I want to remind you that I really want this to be a conversation amongst all of us. So I've got some things I'm going to reveal. I got some things I'm going to debut, but jump into the comments, leave your questions. Let's discuss this. I really want this to be a conversation. I don't have a guest today. It's just us. So with that, I just wanted to, like I said, read just a couple of lines from the introduction, because I think that this will really set the stage. It says, at present, all life on Earth is facing a crisis that threatens the very survival of life here. A crisis that humans must overcome, a crisis that requires a giant leap in humanity's evolutionary process. A life or death crisis that humanity can only solve by transcending individual and collective ego and embracing the true nature of its interdependence with every living thing on the planet and the planet itself. The crisis: we must evolve, see, understand, and act on the fact that we are all part of one human family, or we will perish. On the news today, you will not see many, if any, stories that illustrate humanity's evolution towards a more unified existence. Instead, the news bombards us with examples pointing to humanity's de-evolution to more primitive forms. It shows rampant divisiveness, fracturing our species along national, parochial, partisan, racial, and religious lines. But the news doesn't reflect the complete reality of the story. An awakening consciousness, a blossoming unity, could help us overcome the divisive darkness. A darkness that surrounds us because we, like the prisoners in the allegory of Greek philosophers Plato's cave, are blind. And a lot of the book uses Plato's cave allegory as a metaphor, as an allegory for what's going on right now. I truly believe that we're at the crossroads. We have a choice. We can go down one path that will lead to the exponential increase in divisiveness and conflict and all of the things that the news bombards us with every day. Or we can take this as a wake-up call. We can take this as our opportunity to go down a different path, a path towards unity, a path towards a positive and restorative future, a path towards a future that we would all want to become part of. Now, we are facing tremendous challenges and problems on our planet. And in order to solve those challenges and problems, we need to address those challenges as a planetary community. We need to come together as a planetary community because the problems and challenges facing us are on a planetary scale. And I wanted to share with you that the book, Floating in Darkness, the subtitle is A Journey of Evolution. And it is a journey of evolution. It was an evolution writing the book. The language in the beginning of the book changes later in the book. Some of the awareness that I share in the beginning of the book is is somewhat contradicted and evolved later in the book. And I wrote the book as a first-person, present tense autobiographical narrative to use events that had occurred in my life as an allegory for the evolution of society, not only where we've been, but where we need to go. So because it's written in a first-person present tense, it should read like a novel, and I hope that you really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to write it. I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. And so the bad news, I'll cover the bad news first. And this is kind of my mea culpa here. Is that, a lot of folks have contacted me and asked how, can they get the book for Christmas? And technically the answer is no. There is a workaround that I'll cover later. But the publication date for Floating in Darkness is now May 4th. So that's the bad news, and that's my mea culpa. But the good news is why it's delayed to May 4th. And the big reason is that we launched a publishing house called New Epoch Publishing. And New Epoch Publishing, the purpose of that publishing house is to put content out into the world that will help nudge the trajectory of our society towards a more positive and a restorative future. And the launch of this publishing house is in partnership with Soup, a US-based publisher, and we are also in the process of finalizing partnership agreements with a major Canadian publishing house and one in the UK. So this will be a collaborative effort. And because of that, we'll be able to get Floating in Darkness into brick and mortar bookstores around the world. The other thing that's really exciting is that we've had some change in the cover design. And so one of the things I want to do today is reveal that cover design. There's so many of you who have asked to see. We've had a placeholder cover up for a while. But I'm going to play a video that's going to serve as the cover reveal. And as the video is playing, please send me your comments, send me your questions, and we'll get to that right when it ends. Okay, so with that, here is the cover reveal. Well, I hope you guys like that. I'm sure you can imagine I'm pretty excited about how the cover turned out. It is, I'm excited for lots of reasons. I think one of the big reasons is there are so many metaphorical layers to that cover that reflect very well the story. And one of the big layers is that all growth occurs in darkness. And so we are going through some dark times right now, but I believe that we are going to come out the other side with growth from that. We're not going to go back to the upside down status quo that we had, that we're going to evolve to something better. And we're going to learn from this. That the cover was made by a group of artists that work under Light Farm in Brazil. The main artist was Milton Menendez, and just absolutely, as you can tell, just absolutely incredibly talented artists. And we'll get into a lot more detail on a lot of the other metaphorical layers that are in the cover, because there are Easter eggs in there, and there's Easter eggs in the book, and so it should be a lot of fun and exciting. I want to get to a couple of questions that have come in. Thanks everybody for all the questions and comments. I really appreciate it. This is from Rumora. Looking forward to the book. I find that in this pandemic, as well as climate change, people don't deal too well with the uncertainty of scientific knowledge in a natural manner. Tell me how an astronaut and mission control deals with the uncertainty in many of the phases of the mission, because he has a feeling it can contribute. So that is a really good question. And when we're on a mission, the number one objective of our mission, number one objective of the crew on board, of the crew in the mission control rooms around the world, is to ensure the survival of the crew. And then after that, to ensure that the mission objectives get accomplished. And so when that is our mission, the survival of the crew and the mission objectives, then we have to incorporate the most accurate, the most precise, the most timely and appropriate data possible. So what that means is that at any given moment, we have to be humble enough and open enough to realize that if new data comes in that contradicts what we thought was our starting condition, our reality, we have to adjust that, right? We have to adjust that to be able to overcome any challenge, any emergency, anything that gets thrown at us. And I think we are all crew members on Spaceship Earth right now, and we're dealing with an emergency situation. And so in order to deal with this emergency situation, we need to incorporate the most accurate, the most precise, the most timely data possible, with scientific evidence to support that, evidence-based, peer-reviewed data, and then enact the proper plans in accordance with that data. And when the data changes, we change our plans if need be. And so really good question. So I wanted to talk about the path forward. So the book is coming out May 4th, but that doesn't mean that we're going to just wait till May 4th to release the messages of the book. And so what we're going to do is we're going to launch, starting right now, we're going to launch a program, a multi-month, multimedia immersive program where key messages of the book, key messages that are pointing towards unity, key messages that are pointing towards overcoming divisiveness, key messages that build on a foundation of awe and wonder, key messages that look at our planet from the vantage point of space and look at our society from the vantage point of space. We're going to enact that starting right now, and every month we're going to have a really incredible content that you can join. And all you have to do is go to rongaran.com/join. It doesn't cost anything, but I know that it will be very beneficial, that we will learn a lot, we'll experience a lot, and we'll learn a lot from each other as well. And so I encourage everybody to do that, and we'll be on the, we'll start this journey together. I think it will be very compelling. It will be very timely, and I really would like to have you on board. And if you join, we will send you a message about how, again, a lot of people ask me how they can get the book for Christmas. Unfortunately, because of the pub date being out on May 4th, that's not possible. But what is possible is we have a special program where you can pre-order a copy of Floating in Darkness. Oh, the other good news I forgot to mention is that initially when we first launched the idea of Floating in Darkness and we did a publisher campaign and we got a bunch of pre-orders, that was based on a paperback book. But we've decided that we're not going to launch a paperback book. We're going to launch a hardcover book, or at least we're not going to launch a paperback book yet. And so everybody who participated in that publisher campaign, the vast majority of them will be receiving hardcover books instead. But back to the other plan is we will send you, we have a special program going where you can pre-order a copy of Floating in Darkness. You'll get a beautiful certificate, pre-order certificate with the cover on it. And you'll also get a personalized autographed copy of the Orbital Perspective. And the Orbital Perspective is really book 1 of the Orbital Perspective trilogy, of which Floating in Darkness is obviously book 2. And this is a trilogy of books, all with the motivation to help nudge society towards a more positive future. And so again, I'll pop this back up there. Just go to rongaran.com/join, and we'll give you information about that. So let me just check and see if any other comments are coming in. So yeah, just we've got a couple minutes left. So if there's anybody that has any questions, thanks for all the comments. I'm glad that everybody's excited about the book coming out. I know that I am. Okay, here. So from Taylor, my 10-year-old granddaughter would like to know if you believe in or have seen any aliens. And so I will tell you that there's nothing in Floating in Darkness that deals with aliens. So, but I think that there probably is intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. I think that from purely statistical reasoning, the universe is so incredibly large, inconceivably large. There's so many planets that could harbor life. It just doesn't make any sense that we're the only ones. But it's possible that we are the only ones. And to quote Carl Sagan, if we were the only ones, that would be an awful waste of space. So let's just see. All right, I'm not seeing any questions that need answering. So I'll just leave it at that then. I thank you so much for tuning in. I thank you for all the support. I really, really want you to be part of this journey with us, a journey of discovery, a journey towards a journey on a path towards unity, towards being able to solve the problems that we face, a path towards becoming more resilient, better able to overcome the challenges facing us. And I just want you to take advantage of all the amazing content that we're going to put out over the next few months. Again, it doesn't cost anything. Sign up, and we'll go on this journey together. And with that, I thank you all, and have a great day and have a great Thanksgiving. Really appreciate it. Take care.